What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a great day. For those of you who do not know, so at the time of this recording, 23rd of September, we are actually 5 days away from the 4th anniversary of Genshin Impact. Yes, 28th September 2020, in the midst of COVID-19, this game was released, and it's a game that we love. And of course, today, what I'd like to really talk about, is going entering into the fourth year of the game, into the fifth. We're in Netland right now. So I like to bring out my wish list of changes that I wish will come to the game. I don't call this quality of life because I don't think all of these are QOL changes or improvements. But in today's video, we'd like to discuss what can come to the game that can improve the player's experience. So before we begin, do note that I stream live on Twitch, link in the description below. Let's begin. All right, so for the very first thing, I think it's something that we have in the game, in other Hoyoverse titles and in other games of this genre. And I think this is something that a lot of Genshin players definitely want, especially with the recent announcement for Zenless Zone Zero. It is the reserve energy system. In this case, it would be a reserve resin system. Honkai Star Rail has it for more than a year. I think it was 1.4 that was released. Zenless Zone Zero in the latest live stream was announced that for 1.2 it will be a launch. So that's in 2 days time, if I'm not wrong. And Wuthering Waves had it from this patch onwards. And I think that definitely it will help the players out a lot, especially those who are a little bit more casual, or even those who are busy and really sometimes they can't log on, they can't do their dailies, they can't do their energy, but at least the energy isn't entirely wasted. For those of you who are unaware of how it works in other games, let me just bring up Honkai Star Rail, for example. All right. So in Honkai Star Rail, if you are kept on energy, you will actually have this, it will slowly regenerate into your reserve Trailblazer power. I believe it's at a slower rate. I can't remember what the exact rate is for this. Okay, it does actually show here. So it requires a slower rate than the normal energy, but at the very least, it gives you a little bit of resources elsewhere for your characters in terms of team building. As I mentioned, for those who are a little bit more casual, don't log in every day, or even for those who are busy, right, active players, but maybe they just can't play for 1 or 2 days, they may have something on. I think that this is definitely something that will help players a lot. And yeah, I think that it is definitely a very big step of improvement. Yes, we did get the increase to resin, I think a patch or two ago. I think it was 2 patches, I think it was 4.7. But I think that having an increased resin definitely helps out quite a bit for all players, right? Because sometimes you just don't log in time, and you just have energy capped. So at least with this system, the energy will go somewhere. And on the topic of resin, one thing that I wish that they also change, and this will just combine with the first topic about resin, is to have more condensed resin. Currently the max is 5, so obviously with 200 you can condense 5 into 200 energy, but I think having up to 8 will be a pretty good way of having this. So people who are doing they are spending their fragile resin for farming domains, they can condense more and then do a run with the condensed resin at the same time. So I think this is really nice going forward. I think that this will definitely help players out a lot in the long run, especially when they're farming for characters. And speaking about farming for characters, that's where we go into topic number 2. All right, topic number 2. I think this one is also something that really people really want, and that is the farming, right? And what I mean by farming is that for this is not Star Rail, for talent levels, for weapons, and also for weekly bosses. So I think this is the Netland talent materials. And for those of you who know, there are 3 types of materials and they rotate. So what happens is that on Monday and Thursday, it is one set, which for the for Netland is the teachings on contention, and then Tuesday and Friday will be another set, and then Wednesday and Saturday will be another, and then Sunday will be the only day we can farm anything that you want. And that also works out for the web. This is the weapon ascension as well, right? Same system. And I think that it would definitely be good, especially now that we have 6 regions. It can be a little bit difficult to specify to have specific days, because imagine if you're building up 3 characters, or say you build up a team, right? Team of 4 characters, and 3 of them happen to be on a Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, and then 1 character is on a Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. It can be very taxing, because if they're in different domains, you have to split your resources. It can be a little bit painful to farm, and I think that and because like I said, there are 6 regions, and sometimes teams tend to have characters of certain regions, like maybe you have Kazuha who uses Liyue domains, maybe you have Morlani who's from Netland, Furina who's from Fontaine. This can be a little bit taxing for players, especially as the Netland roster grows bigger. And sometimes we get characters that are from previous regions. I won't be surprised if the next Lantern Rite we have another character from Liyue as well. So I think that having this farmability on all days instead of Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday will definitely help out a lot of players, because like I said, different players have different schedules. What if they can't really farm on a Saturday and stuff like that? So I think this will really help out the player base a lot. I don't know. This is probably less likely than the Resin. I won't be surprised if the Resin system that I mentioned earlier comes soon, because we already have Star Rail and ZZZ having it. I won't be surprised if Genshin gets it very, very soon. This one, I hope they do it, but it's just a less likely one. One that I hope they actually improve is actually the weekly bosses. So currently how the weekly boss system works is that generally you can farm a weekly boss once a week. The first 3 times you do it, you can claim your rewards at 30 energy, and any subsequent ones will be 60 energy. So for example, if I were to do the whale boss, and then I do the Arlecchino boss, and let's say the Scaramouche boss in Sumeru, those are the very first 3 that I do. And then what happens is that claiming the rewards will be 30 energy, and every subsequent one, let's say I do Azdaha or Ride a Shogun boss, then it'll be 60 energy for that. And while that is fine, I think that what they could do is to at least have you to farm multiple the same domain or the same weekly boss multiple times over the week. So instead of just the 1 attempt to claim the treasure. So let's say if a new character, let's say in 5.2, 5.3, we get the new weekly boss, for example. I would think it's 5.2, we get a new weekly boss. And then you found the materials, but then you have to wait once a week, you get 2 drops, 3 drops. I think it's a little bit long. So maybe have the 3, maybe have a limit, maybe 3 or 2 or something. And then, but at least have us being able to farm multiple times for those for that weekly boss. I think it would be really, really nice improvement, and a better way for us to spell Resin, instead of actually us not really farming Resin, but building our characters, instead of having a timetable, or on Monday I need to do this, Tuesday I need to do talents, Wednesday I need to do this and everything. It's a little bit it's a little bit too much, I think, for a gacha game. So yeah, I hope that's something that maybe they could tweak a little bit. So yeah, okay, let's move on to our third one, which let's move on to the third one. All right, artifacts. So in this video, I'm not talking about increasing the rate of artifacts or anything. I think when it comes to artifact optimization, I think there's 2 changes that I really want to talk about. The first one would be, I think, something that just like the reserve resin system would be a loadout. Don't look at my sense, by the way, it's pretty bad. It would be the resin loadout system. Not resin, artifact loadout system. All right, I think an artifact loadout system would be pretty nice because there are some characters that you want to run like multiple sets on. For one of those examples would be something like a cookie, no cookie, sorry, Kokomi. All right, one of that will be probably Kokomi. I don't really have her, but you know, Kokomi can run different sets depending on the team comp. She can run the Ocean Hued Clan, which is the domain on one of the islands in Inazuma. She could run Tenacity on the Millilith. She could run the Deep Wood set. You know, these sets are pretty good for Kokomi depending on the team comp. You know, there are certain DPS characters that maybe want a certain set, and maybe when you play them with Farina, you want to use Marashuse Hunter, you know, some stuff like that, you know, like, or let's say, for example, if let's say you have a very good Gladiator set, right, that maybe you want to slap onto like a new DPS before you farm their best in slot, you know, like for example, if let's say, I don't want to say like Kinich, right? But let's say no Kinich just came out and you're still farming for Obsidian Codex, and then you were like, okay, maybe let's dump like the my good Gladiator set, right, on him or on her, of which is for another character. And so I think that having artifact loadouts is definitely going to be very nice, not only for the ease of switching builds, but also, you know, for keeping like set builds that maybe you want to put on a character once a new character comes out. So I think that this is really helpful. Another thing that I really want to see is, and this is pretty small, but I think this is easily added to the game, which is to not only lock your artifacts, but also to mark any as trash. Going back to like Honkai Star Rail, because Star Rail has this, so does ZZZ. Let me go back to Star Rail. So in Star Rail, there's also a similar system for that. It is a small thing, but you know, let's say I don't want this artifact anymore, I can put it as to discard. So you know, it's very easy for me to salvage. If it was, yeah, you can see that I have so many in the salvages. I just quick select all discarded and clear what I want, right? So it really is probably helpful, so that, you know, now with Genshin, in 5.0, there's an option to scrap our artifacts and salvage them for this. I think it'd be a very nice way to quick select such artifacts. Yes, there is some, but maybe you want to keep some of the 4-star artifacts, right? Maybe you want to keep like your instructors or even your exile pieces. So I think that this will definitely help out a lot in the long run in helping to manage your inventory a lot better. So yeah, I think that's all I really have to talk about artifacts. I think loadouts is something that the community has wanted for a very long time. I know people weren't very happy when they had this sorry, wrong screen. People weren't very happy with this fast equip thing because it can be a little bit weird. I've tested it once, and you know, they usually put like such a higher emphasis on crit rate. It gives you like 100%, like maybe not on this character. Like let's put D-Look, right? Because D-Look's actually a character that I'm building, and I don't have any artifacts on him. So if I were to fast equip and put the quick equip and everything, like they will usually go for like a build like this, and you know, it's pretty okay, but like it is what it is. Like there were times where I tried to quick equip certain characters, and then it gives me like 100% crit, or like it either gives you 100% crit rate or like very low crit rate. So it's very weird in the way it does things. I know that it's because like they don't take out like artifacts that have been on people, but then it becomes a lot of a hassle to move things around. So hopefully they either optimize this or they really introduce loadouts. All right, so yeah, that's point number 3 about artifacts, and let's talk about something that I really experienced recently, which is about the Overworld Bosses. All right, so fourth one, which is our Overworld Bosses. I know in 5.0 or is it 4.8? I can't really remember. They changed the system where you don't need to wait for your enemies to be on. Like there's like after you kill an overworld boss, you would have a cooldown in the past where, you know, it takes a while for them to respawn. In I think is it 5.0 or 4.8? I'm not very familiar. I'm not very sure. They changed it that there was no more cooldown. So that you kill it, you can just teleport out and back in. And while that is fine, I think that the problem is that some of the overworld bosses tend to be pretty far away from their teleport points. And it's something that I really realized quite recently when I was farming the Aeon Blight Drake for Layla. I was trying to build Layla, I was farming for these pieces. And I realized that there were some bosses that were really far away from the teleport point. I need to climb in, I need to jump over and stuff like that. And I think that, it could be nice to have like an option once you defeat the boss. Maybe, like how in domains, there's that key where you can use to activate, you can start the trial or whatever. Maybe once you beat the boss and you claim the materials, claim your rewards, maybe it could be nice to have like a key or like an indicator to like restart the fight so you can respawn the boss again. This boss as well, the Pyro Swine, is actually a little bit far. You have to climb up the mountain or go through the whole bit depending on which teleporter you come from. So yeah, that's how, and also yes, this boss as well, the Primal Geovishap, can be a little bit far unless you use the temporary waypoint. I forgot what's it called, right? There are other bosses that can be pretty far. This one's pretty near, that's okay. This one is pretty near actually because you just jump down the hole. This one can be a little bit far, the Dendro Hypostasis. This one's relatively okay, but yeah, there are some bosses that can be pretty far from their spawn point. I think that some of them have this one as well, the Coppelia and Coppelius. Yes, I remember this as well because I had to run back here, run through the Fountain of Lucine and come back in here. So yeah, there's some bosses that I think are a little bit far. So I hope that, maybe something that they could do is to have an option to like have the key from the domain or something similar, because, Genshin does things for lore reasons. And I'm sure the key has a lore reason for the domains. But have that something similar for like the overworld bosses. Like let's say you've cleared you get a clear rewards, then there's an option to fight boss again or something like that. I think that would be pretty nice and a pretty nice change for players as well, right? This is near, but then like maybe you find that the animal hypostasis is a little bit far from the teleporter. I think that would be a very nice change so that it helps to speed up time, not speed up time, but to speed up the process for players farming for certain characters. So yeah, that is really point number 4 about overworld bosses. I think that with World 9 the drops are a little bit better. You're guaranteed 3. I've gotten some 4 drops as well as I was farming for Layla and Diluc. So yeah, definitely there have been some improvements, but I think that like with anything, it may be good, but it can be better. All right, so let's talk about the very last one. All right, for the very last point, I think it's I think this one is more because of what happened with Zenless, and this is really a small thing, but really wish that there was a counter for like your pity. So for those of you who played Zenless, yes, I started Zenless like about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And actually like all the music I've been playing is actually through Zenless, right? If I was to go to the wish, right? If I go to the wish, I will see at the bottom here, I'll see from the bottom here that there's like 5 more pulls. I get a guaranteed A rank and 70 more pulls that I will get an S rank. This means my PT is 20 for an S rank character, which is the 5-star equivalent. I think that this could be very nice. Instead of just going in manually to oopsie daisy, instead of just going in manually to count, right? That's what we do in Genshin and in Star Rail. Definitely it'd be very nice change for the players. And because sometimes you're just bad at math, right? It's not just bad at math, and I think that this is really nice going forward. Especially because we have double banners and stuff. We have a weapon banner as well. It'd be nice to also try the weapon banner, and also because the in-game detail does refresh after a while. So it definitely isn't like it's not instant, right? You don't pull it and it instantly shows like this is the record. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, I think, for Genshin, for the Hoyoverse games at least. So it definitely will be a nice change for us to track when we are pulling, so that let's say if you're like 2 pulls away from soft PT, then we can do like single pulls from there. So I think that this will be really nice for the players as they are pulling for their characters. I think that's about it for this video. There's some points that I wish they would change, but I think for the most part, like, I don't know how I feel about the double banners, like having both weapons on the same banner instead of having two separate banners. But I can see why they did that. There are other changes that I maybe did not talk about. Oh, what's this NPC doing? What the heck? Right, the other changes that I hope they do change, but you know, 4.0 had a lot of good changes, and I hope that with the subsequent versions, they continue and don't stop. Right, they continue to deliver a good product, and you know, they made promises during the 5.0 live stream, and you know, it's up to them to follow through. Right, it's up to them to follow through. So yeah, I think that's that for this video. Is there really anything that we want to talk about? I mean, besides like the new end game and stuff, not really. I am enjoying Netland. I just have not had the time to fully explore. So you can see that my exploration is only in the like 30 to 40%. But I do explore my map, okay? I have like 100% and 90% in Fontaine. So I do explore. Okay, so I just have not had the time recently to do so, as you can see from my upload schedule. But yeah, I think these are some 5 of the things, and please let me know in the comment section below any of the changes that you wish would come in the upcoming year, and maybe, you know, we can keep a tab and see what promises are fulfilled and what is not. Like for myself, I think the reserve resin system will 100% come within the next few patches, hopefully in 5.1. With the live stream, it should be sometime this week or next week. I'm not very sure. So that's that for this video. Once again, I said, leave in comments any suggestions that you've like, or anything that you wish were changed. I know some people want the skip button. That one's a little bit more subjective, maybe for world quests, right, unvoiced quests. But yeah, let me know in the comment down section below. Do like, subscribe, and all that good stuff as well. And once again, do note that I stream live on Twitch, link in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, be good to yourselves and the people around you. See you guys next time. Bye bye.